So the opening sequence of this video was shot entirely on the A7S III from Sony, and as you can tell, it performs extremely well in low light situations, but that's not why I love these shots. I love these shots because of the lenses that I used. Now, these guys right here are a set of compact cinema lenses from SLR Magic. These are MicroPrimes cinema lenses with a Sony E-mount, so it fits right on your DSLR mirrorless camera. And they're super compact and lightweight while still giving you that cinematic filmic look. And I wanted to talk a little bit about these lenses today and what makes them so good. I think the first thing that deters a lot of people from going out and looking into cinema lenses is the price. Cinema lenses are traditionally upwards of $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 for one lens, whereas these guys here are more in the price bracket of your traditional camera lens, setting you back roughly around 1,000 Australian dollars per lens. So you could get a full kit of these for around $5,000, which in comparison to those bigger cinema lenses is pretty decent. So after shooting with these lenses for about a week now, one of the things that I love most about these is the build quality. Compared to some of the other lenses that I've been using recently, using a cinema lens is just a completely different look and feel. These things are made entirely out of metal, obviously aside from the glass element on the front, but they just have that nice, solid, durable, really well-built quality that a lot of cinema lenses typically have. Aside from that, all the little focal markings on the side of the lens that you can see are actually etched in and not painted in like a lot of other lenses. So that's typically just another sign of good build quality and I guess longevity in a cinema lens, which is exactly what you want. Now, when we're talking about the quality of these cinema lenses, these things are super quick. So this is the 35mm in the kit, and that's a T1.3. So they're super fast and they're great in low light, as you can see from the sample footage. Shooting at nighttime, I had no problems, especially on the A7S III. And for the price, it's pretty incredible that this thing can get up to T1.3. Now, because these are cinema lenses, it means that they're completely manual. So there's no autofocus on this, and you actually have to manually control your aperture as well. So if you look on the lens, the ring closest to the base here controls your aperture, opens and closes that, and then here at the front you've got your focus ring, which will give you guides as to how far away you need to be from your subject to have them in focus. The great thing about this and being such a compact lens is that the focus throw is 150 degrees as opposed to some more traditional cinema lenses, which would be around 300, meaning that you'd have to swing your hand all the way around the lens to get your full range of focus, whereas this here, you can kind of just tilt it like this and you've got your full range of focus, which is great if you're going out with a really compact setup like I did on the Sony A7S III. Now, the one thing that I did notice about the focus on this lens is that the focus ring is quite loud. So if you're recording audio, it might be a little bit noisy if you're trying to pull focus in particular shots. So if I pull the focus ring, you can probably hear what I'm talking about. And so when that's close to your camera and close to your microphone, that might interfere with your sound a little bit. The other thing as well is that this focus ring has a hard stop on either end, meaning that it kind of just comes to a complete stop and clicks when it comes to either end of the focus. You can kind of hear that there when I go from end to end. Now, the thing that I loved most about using these lenses was the character that it gives. And I think that's probably the main reason that you would use a cinema lens over any type of other lens like a Sigma 24-70 or something like that for video. Even though it might be a little more practical, these lenses pack so much character into them. And when I talk about character, I'm talking about the look that these lenses give. So it gives a very film-like, cinematic-like look to your footage that you wouldn't be able to achieve with any other lens. When you're shooting wide open on these things, the image is a little bit softer, and that's something that I think adds to the character of the footage. When you're shooting video, you don't want your footage to be super sharp and robotic and crispy. So shooting on the open end of this is gonna give you a nice soft look. And then as you close down your aperture, your image is gonna get a little bit sharper, which is also gonna add a really cool look to your footage. Now, the one thing that I did notice, especially with the wider lenses in this kit, was some slight vignetting, which again, for me, if you're shooting video, can also just add to the style and the character of your image. But for some other people, it might not be a look that they're necessarily going for. But again, once you kind of close down your stops a little bit, that vignetting starts to disappear and you don't notice it as much. Now, the thing that I loved most about shooting with these lenses, and one of the reasons why I actually chose to go out and shoot at nighttime, was the flaring. Now, with your standard digital lens, you're not gonna really get too much flaring, especially if you're using a lens hood. But I just took these things straight out as they were, shot into some night lights and captured some of that city skyline ambience and street lights, all that sort of stuff. And the flaring that you get on this is really unique, and you can get really creative with it depending on what type of shoot you're trying to do and what type of look you're trying to achieve. But as you move this lens around with the light shining into the glass, you get some really cool different flares and colors popping up, and it just adds a lot of character and it adds something different to your footage that you're not going to get with any other type of lens. So if you're a filmmaker and you're looking to get into some of those cinema lenses, this is a perfect place to start because it's still at a really great price point, but you're also getting that awesome build quality and that cinematic look that you're getting with your traditional cinema lenses. And the fact that these lenses are so well built and so compact as well just makes it so much easier to throw in your camera bag, take out with you on shoots, and then whack on your camera without the need of any other accessories or mounts or anything like that that's gonna overcomplicate your setup. Definitely check these out if you're interested. I had a really fun time shooting with these lenses over the past week. I'll leave some links down in the description where you can see a little bit more information and kind of see where you can buy these lenses. Thank you again to CR Kennedy for letting me borrow these for the past week. It's been really cool to shoot on these cinema lenses. Aside from that, I hope you enjoyed today's video. I hope you enjoyed the opening sequence and some of those ambient night cinematic shots. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Subscribe if you haven't done so already, and I will see you in the next video.